Alright, so just kind of rolling along here. So I did the Strike Eagle. And actually, I didn't realize that when I pushed the button, it didn't turn the video off. And then I did the PST, and then it did the PST kind of rolled on, and then I put this guy up on the bench. So I touched base on this Weaver a little bit during the 2.5 to 10 PST video. Actually, I have to go get my son from the bus stop here in a little bit, but so I got this from Natchez Shooter Supply. I think they're out of Tennessee. It's a 2 to 10 first focal plane, mil, 5 mil turrets, 5 mil windage, 5 mil elevation, illuminated. I guess it'd be the direct competitor to this guy is, from what I've seen, would be like the Burris XTR2 that's been out for I guess about a year and a half, 2 years. The Vortex PST, 2.5 to 10 front focal plane, and I think that's probably, as far as direct competitors, that's probably the list that are, I guess, more or less on the same sheet of music. This one out of the three, now I haven't had my hands on an XTR2, on an XTR2, but I've heard good things about them. I know Burris had a hard time when they first put those scopes out, catching up to bugs and stuff, but it seems like all that stuff's sorted out pretty well. I mean, a lot of guys are running them and liking them. I'm honestly waiting for that 8 to 40, for a mil version at 8 to 40 with the SCR reticle. So, but as far as this goes, I got it as soon as I picked it up. It's mounted. I didn't do an unboxing or anything, but did a tracking test on it. It tracked just fine. I mean, as good as I can shoot. This is my son's 308 bolt gun. He's still a little small for it, but he shot it this weekend. He liked it. The glass on it, I did compare them as well as, like, you can turn it to 9 power, and I've got a 3 to 9 SS, SWFA SS, which people have, there's a lot of Kool-Aid drinkers out there, and they're good scopes, but this is my third one, and I got one when they were first released, bought it new from SWFA, and it wouldn't track, and then they sent me another one, and I think it like ran out of adjustment or something. It like, I don't know, there was something wrong with it, and so I sent it back, and I got a loophole 4.5 14 LRT, and I actually like that scope really well, aside from the fact that it had a milled out reticle with capped target turret and quarter-minute target turrets. But anyway, so this guy here, it's got the locking turrets. It's 10th mil, 5 mil turrets, 10th mil adjustment, 5 mil turrets. The one thing I don't like about it is, so I've marked it up. So I did left and right with a paint marker, just so the kid can, he's young, so it's going to take it's a lot of learning curve. And instead of 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, whatever, or 1, 2, 2.5, and then resetting itself, it went 0, 4, 3, and counted down. And I just think it's, I don't know, I just don't like it, and it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I colored them in with a paint marker and changed them. That shit wipes off with 90% alcohol. So that's one thing. The way the turds come off, I actually really like. It's toolless. You don't even need a nickel or something like the bushies. So that's the way it comes off. Spline turrets, the whole 9. They line up nice every time. Unlike I had the SWFA 5 to 20 HD, that thing wouldn't line up for squat. The one huge complaint, the 30mm tube, you can see 2 to 10. The magnification's a little tight. Fast focus eyepiece. I know people were crazy about safety. It's unloaded, whatever. Put on safe. We're in my loading room, so my gun room. But so obviously we shouldn't have that issue here. But the it takes a 2032 battery. It's a 36 millimeter objective, but as far as the illumination goes, the illumination is next to useless. If you were daylight shooting coyotes or something like that, and you wanted illumination, it would work fine there. But at night, on its usable setting, I won't say lowest setting, but the usable setting on a dark night, like a what is it, like a waning moon or something, when it's really dark, we just had, the entire scope just blooms out either red or green, and green is way worse than red for whatever reason. I don't know, maybe it's more reflective or something, but it's terrible. I was actually really disappointed with that. I called Weaver to see if there was any known issues, and the guy that I talked to, he was like, "Oh well, I haven't even touched one of those." And then he kind of argued with me. He was like, "Are you sure it's a 2 to 10?" "Yeah, I'm sure it's a 2 to 10. Are you sure it's a tactical?" "Yeah, I'm sure it's a tactical." And he's, I don't know. He just didn't seem like he had a clue. And this one's mounted on a Seekins base with Seekin rings. Base is bedded. Yeah, he just, I don't know. And, we can send it in. Well, man, if it's the illumination, there's a lot of scopes without illumination. But I bought this one not just because it had illumination, but that was one of the things, because, the PSTs have great illumination. It's like the best thing about them. But yeah, the illumination is terrible. So, to just kind of speed this along, if you're looking for a scope, this was $415 to the door from Natchez. In my opinion, and I'm nobody real special or anything, but I've got a lot of scopes and stuff. I got a lot of gear. I'm in the military, so I see a lot of stuff, and the best stuff, or whatever the military's bidding on. But if you want something sub $500 that is mil front focal plane, 30 millimeter tube, and I think this ended up, the way it's sitting with a 20-minute base, it's got 13.5 mils of adjustment, which is, you probably lob 308 out of a 16-inch tube, I don't know, a long daggum way. It's probably 1,200 yards with 13 mils. Way beyond the cartridge's, ability. But yeah, for what I paid for it, if you can still get this for $400, it's a bargain. The glass absolutely destroys the SWFA, and it's the SS 3 to 9. Doesn't matter what you set it on, what power you set it on. It absolutely does not matter. The glass is way better, and everything in this is brass and aluminum. The stems are brass, just like the SWFA. So it seems robust enough, but the glass is. I was absolutely blown away by the glass. I think it resolved two extra lines beyond what the SWFA did. And I just don't think there's anything sub $500 that can compete with this at all. The PST, the 2.5 to 10 for focal plane PST, it's like an additional at least 300 on top of this, and I just don't think there's anything right here. If you're looking for $500, there's nothing that touches it. At least nothing I've put my hands on. I've got a 2.5 to 10 second focal plane Vortex in there, and it doesn't even. It's nowhere near. I've got it on my one mag and my hunting rifle, one of my hunting rifles, and it's not even in the same realm. And it's like the same money. and this might be a little bit more, but yeah, it's awesome. I was absolutely I was blown away, and yeah, no comparison from what I've seen. Now I'm sure, you get into the $1,000 range. I think the XTR is like 800 to $1,000, maybe right at 900. But that's right there with the PST, and I haven't had the PST side by side with this yet. But I don't know. The glass is really, really good. And I haven't looked at the XTR. This one's made in Japan. All those other ones are made in the Philippines. Most people will say Filipino stuff isn't very good, but who knows? I think Vortex has their own. Vortex and Burris/Steiner now have their own factories in the Philippines, so their QC is probably a little bit tighter than if it was just ran by the Filipinos. I don't know. I mean, nothing against Filipinos, but it just seems like there's a lot of issue with people have a lot of issue with scopes if they're not coming from like Europe, Germany, Iowa, I think it's like Czech Republic or Romania or somewhere, or the U.S. or Japan, then all of a sudden it's a piece of shit. Well, it's probably not. It's really not the case. But I will say that this guy, 500. Below $500. I don't know if that's still what it's at, but I paid $414, I think, to the door, and ran it out 600 yards. It tracks awesome. Returns to zero, no problem. The only problem with it is that you could really kind of maybe get lost in the turrets. Not that they don't line up. They line up just fine. But I've got a little mark that I did with the paint marker. So I just let it, pull it up and let it rest, and I blacked out everything else. So when my bottom, regardless, when I come down here, that's where I'm at. So I'm back to zero. Now if I travel beyond it, yep. So there we go. So that's kind of my zero stop. And the locking turrets, I don't know, I'm not crazy about the locking turrets, but everything feels good. They're not as audible as the PST, but you can feel them. The D10 on them's just fine. And I like the toolless. I really like them being, oh shucks. I really like them being toolless. I don't know, I just like that. But yeah, it's a pretty good scope, I think. I'm not really crazy about Weaver as a company. I think when ATK took them over, they went to shit. But they seem to be cranking out pretty good stuff, and this seems to be a product of that. I think their customer service is just kind of trashed a little bit, but I've had good luck with other scopes. I've got a 1-3 Classic that I've had on 44 mag lever gun. And I gotta go get the kid from the bus stop, but 44 mag lever gun and a 4570 lever gun, which is the hardest kicking thing I have, and probably one of the hardest kicking things I've ever shot. And then I got a 2-7. I think they call it the V7, but all of them made in Japan, and they survived at 4570 and at V3. You can see this guy, it's been, it's got the anodizing wearing off in places, and it's not been treated too well. It's been hunted a lot, but now it just sits in the toolbox. But anyway, that's the Weaver. I think they call it the Grand Slam Tactical 2-10 first focal plane 30mm mill with the enhanced mill dot. I don't know, it's got like circles and stuff. I don't think that stuff really matters. It's got half mil increments past one, but yeah, it's not bad. It's something to consider for sure. All right, thanks.